Just give me another moment here while it's preparing to live stream the meeting on our YouTube channel. Again, we do that so that members of the public have access to this. And okay. Give me another moment here while it's preparing to live stream the meeting on our YouTube channel. Let me turn that down. Okay. So we're live there. And let me get back on Zoom here. And we're on Zoom. Okay, everyone's here. All right, Madam President, anytime you're ready.
I call the meeting to order on Tuesday, December 15th, 2020. All rise to the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
to the flag
of the United
of the
States
United
of
States
America,
of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Hey, did the flag appear on the screen?
Yes, it did.
Yes. Yep.
The nut roll was better.
Elaine, roll call, please.
Sure. Mr. Giglione,
Here.
Mrs. Rule.
Here.
I'm sorry, I should have, you're last. I'm sorry, I'm thrown by the remote here. Mr. Scott,
Here.
Mr. Tashwire,
Here,
Mrs. Harris. Here. Mr. Stoffer. There somewhere. Ms. Johnson. Mr. Perry.
Here.
Ms. Lagueros.
Here.
Mrs. Downer.
Here.
Mr. Alexandrov.
Here.
And Mrs. Roll.
Here. Elaine, would you like to mention the about the board member comments and visitors comments?
Sure. As we have been doing, of course, now the whole meeting is remote, but on our website, we do post both the agenda and how to participate virtually. And we ask people to give us comments by 5 o'clock. When I checked at about 5:45, there were no comments received.
Thank you. An executive session was held prior to tonight's meeting for the purpose of discussing legal and personnel matters. I see there are no presentations, no student presentations tonight. I need approval for the minutes of November 10th, 2020.
So moved.
Second,
All those in
Sorry,
favor?
who's second?
Wayne Perry.
No.
We
Right,
okay? All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? The motion carries as stated. Financial action items. Elaine, are you going to read those or Kevin?
Well, they were all in your packet. It's the administrative funds, the program funds, the various bills. And then the last one, though, we did want to, since we do not have a meeting in January, we do ask that you authorize us to pay invoices and that they will be ratified at the February 2nd meeting.
This is David
I'll
Scoff. I
make the motion. Go ahead.
Well, I make a motion to move items 7.1 to 7.6.
Your second.
I'll second that motion, Roger.
Okay, are there any questions or comments? Okay, roll call, please.
Mr. Giglione,
Yes.
Mr. Scott,
Yes.
Mr. Tashwire,
Yes,
Mrs. Harris,
Yes.
Mr. Stoffer. Is he there? Mr. Perry,
Yes.
Ms. Lagueros,
Yes.
Mrs. Downer,
Yes.
Mr. Alexandrov,
Yes.
Mrs. Rule.
Yes. Motion carries as stated. Administrative action items, Kevin?
Good evening, everyone. It is recommended the board approve administrative action items 8.1 through 8.1.1 through 8.2.1.
So moved, David.
A second?
Second. Wayne
Second.
Kerr.
Any questions or comments? Roll call, please.
Mr. Diglione,
Yes.
Mr. Scott,
Yes.
Mr. Tashwire,
Yes.
Mrs. Harris,
Yes.
Mr. Stoffer. Is he with us? Mr. Perry,
Yes.
Ms. Legaros,
Yes.
Mrs. Downer,
Yes.
Mr. Alexandrov,
Yes.
and Mrs. Rule.
Yes. Motion carries as stated. Next one. We have nothing under facilities, not, superintendent, Dr. Lutz?
No report this evening, thank you.
Okay. Solicitors report. Mrs. Galati?
Thank you, everyone. Again, I apologize for the technical difficulties. No formal report. Everyone have a good holiday and stay safe. Thank you.
Thank you. Any information items? They've been enclosed in your JCCC brief, and there was a website attachment. Any questions on those or anything?
Right, just briefly, I mean, folks, we put the information out there regarding our operations under COVID and just some, the general updates that you're accustomed to getting in the JCCC brief. I wanted to point out that after receiving authorization in November from you to secure a vendor to capture and to produce videos and promotional videos for the 16 programs. I'm sorry, the 18 programs, the programs that we'll be offering, the 3 new ones next year. We secured Orion Vega. We vetted probably, I think, 5 or 6 different vendors and received quotes from 3 different ones, and they were the most responsible. They've done great work with some other other clients. We're really pleased with the outcome. They've been working very closely with us here recently, and we're going to be starting some filming right after the holidays. We have some other pre-production activities going on now, but I wanted to make you aware of that. And also enclosed in the packet the JCCC brief, the agreement, that you could see that. I wanted to point out that the couple of different important things that announced about student programs and initiatives. The challenge program winners, we received the funds, the checks for these students. They were actually 2019-20 winners, but just before the holidays, all these kids got checks for $200. They were very happy about that. I also wanted to point out to you, if you're not doing anything Friday, even during this current situation, we are doing a socially distant and state compliant blood drive here. While there's all these spiked cases, there's still a need for blood in this county, and that's being done through our National Technical Honor Society as a fundraising initiative and community service project. But if you're able to come here on Friday and donate blood, we'd appreciate that. And the other information I want to point out, just our snapshot of cases. I provide you with updates here, I think every week or so, with the current case counts of our COVID positive cases, and of course the cumulative total. If you have any questions about that in between meetings, feel free to reach out and ask. We also keep the superintendents abreast of those, that information. We also, again, wanted to point out the plan that we have for recruiting and scheduling students. And again, there's been a couple of amendments to this plan, an issue that I wanted to bring up here, and you'll be receiving a separate email probably before the holidays, I'm hoping. But we learned of an entirely new strategy that can be used and some other places are using during this current time to present your programs, and it's a virtual 3D tour. And so we just found out late in the week on Friday about this concept. Schools in Ohio are using it, and there was a vendor that reached out to me, and rather than just jumping on board with that vendor, I decided to spend some time this week reaching out to some Pittsburgh companies that do this. And it turns out there's one in particular out of Green Tree that's going to be coming to visit here tomorrow. But in essence, what it'll do is it'll capture 3D images of our entire class, and people can click buttons and walk through the shops, look at the equipment in great detail. And I'll be sending out again an email. I don't have any agenda item for this particular initiative, but we wanted to add this to our recruiting and scheduling plan. And again, I'll send you a separate email about that once I have more details. That's all the information I wanted to share with you here. And also, again, would open up for anyone who has any questions about the initiatives and materials that you received in your packets in the JCCC brief.
This is David. I had one question.
I think that sounds great.
The students by program, which is always useful to see in our packet, but I'm wondering if we could add a column to that spreadsheet about the maximum number of students that could be accommodated in that program. So at least in the snapshot, we have a chance to see the proportion of seats that are being used, because they vary by program clearly.
Sure.
And seeing the total number doesn't really give us an idea if it's a full program or it's underutilized.
Sure. Yeah, we could absolutely add that for next month. And you just want that information generally, not in relationship to the current social distancing groupings that we have, because
No, just what we could have maximum capacity in that room in a normal situation.
We'll find a way to incorporate that into that report.
Okay, thank you.
Kevin, when do we plan on starting to do a lot of advertising on the vet tech program? Are we gonna, do you have a target date in the spring or?
Well, we've already actually started. If you were to look at the website, we have information on our website about those 3 new programs for next year. Also mentioned in the JCCC brief was the counselors meeting, the guidance counselors meeting, which is scheduled to take place tomorrow. And during that meeting, there's a presentation being given to the guidance counselors on those 3 new programs. And then, of course, we're putting together promotional videos for those 3 programs, even though they technically don't exist right now. And the vendor that we're using, again, once we vetted 3 or 4 different ones with quotes, ended up being the same company that Parkway used. And Parkway has agreed to allow us to use footage from their vet tech program to put together our video. So the video producer and the company that we're working with, they have some real creative ideas for how we can kind of like almost make it look like it's our program by using B-roll film with Steel Center kind of logos mixed into the backgrounds on certain areas, and then you cut over to a student working on a dog or another animal. And so so that is underway now. In that marketing plan, the program brochures will be mailed out to interested students beginning the end of January. So again, there's a little more detail in the plan, and appreciate the question, but we're actually in the middle of unveiling and in recruiting and promoting those new programs now.
Okay, any other business tonight? If not, is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved. David Scott.
Second, Perry.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The motion carries as stated. Don't forget, no meeting in January. Next meeting is February 2nd. Have a happy, safe, and healthy holiday.
But don't go anywhere, because we have the exciting Southeast Area Special School District meeting coming up next.
Oh, that's right.
Yes.
Okay,
Elaine,
sure,
tell me
Dave.
when you're ready to switch over and I'll get started.
I'm ready.
You're ready.
Yep. I didn't have to go anywhere.
That's true. I was just worried about paperwork, perhaps. I'd like to call to order the December 15 meeting of the Southeast Area Special School Joint Operating Committee. If we could have a roll call, please, Mrs. Frumbaugh.
Mr. Giglione,
Here.
Mr. Tashwire,
Here.
Mrs. Harris,
Here.
Mr. Stoffer,
Here.
Ms. Johnson, Mr. Perry,
Here.
Ms. Legeros,
Here.
Mrs. Downer,
Here.
Mr. Alexandrov,
Here.
and Mr. Scott.
Here. Okay. Under board member comments and visitor comments, we had a public comment period online. Were there any comments submitted in advance, Mrs. Frombaugh?
No, none as of 5:45, the last time I checked my voicemail, and no email comments.
Okay. Are there any other board member comments? Raise your hand. Seeing none, I'm in need of a motion to approve the minutes from our November 10, 2020 meeting.
I'll make that motion. Roger.
Second, Perry.
Motion made by Mr. Tashwire, seconded by Mr. Perry. Are there any questions or comments on that? Any corrections needed? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? The motion carries. Under financial items, we have items 5.1 through 5.3.
I'll make a motion to accept those items. Roger.
All right, do we have a second?
Second.
Seconded by Mrs. Downer. Are there any questions or comments on these items? Could we have a roll call, please?
Mr. Giglione,
Yes.
Mr. Tashwire,
Yes.
Mrs. Harris,
Yes.
Mr. Stoffer,
Yes.
Mr. Perry,
Yes.
Ms. Legeros,
Yes.
Mrs. Downer,
Yes.
Mr. Alexandrov,
Yes.
and Mr. Scott.
Yes. The motion carries. Before we move on, I had a question. We've been seeing the receivables report for many months now with nothing changing with Wilkinsburg or PA Cyber. And I'm most concerned about receivables from districts outside our sending districts. Is there anything being done about those receivables, which I think at about $25,000, that's well over a year old? I can ask that of
I don't know, Jasmine or Chris. can you-
Jasmine's on here.
One second, can you repeat? I couldn't hear what you were asking.
The question is, we have the receivables, especially those from non-sending districts that are very old, PA Cyber and Wilkinsburg. And I guess the question I'm asking is, what is being done about those receivables? Or are they just sitting there?
No, they're not sitting there. I reached out to them twice. Wilkinsburg and PA Cyber, they're kind of confused on the receipts that we have. They believe that they received the same bill twice. So they're actually looking into it and are supposed to get back to me on payment.
Okay. As long as there's progress. I just don't like
Yes,
seeing
we
those
made a
things
lot of
keep going.
progress on some of our older ones.
Okay. All right. Dr. Dowell, is there a principal's report?
Briefly, excuse me, I believe Elaine sent an email to everybody about our recent closure. We had a staff person test positive, which took out a good chunk of students and other staff. Unrelated to that, Pathfinder and Sunrise schools have been kind of constantly in and out. So we are actually extended that closure through the holiday break, planning on coming back January 4th, more for continuity of instruction and some safety than anything else. But hopefully back in person on January 4th is the plan.
Okay, thank you very much. I don't believe we have anything on facilities. The Allegheny Intermediate Unit report. We welcome today Joe Lucarelli. You're the official representative. Is there any report from the AIU?
Good evening, everyone. No, there isn't, but like to wish everybody happy holidays as well.
Thank you. Appreciate that. Superintendent of Record, Dr. Lutz, do you have anything under the this?
Actually, just a question. Back to Mr. Lucarelli on when will this board be receiving the audit?
So I always get this one confused. I think that Meyer Dussel comes in early February. The audit is being wrapped up. I have Rich Marusik, who's our comptroller, on the call. He can confirm that. I think that there's a couple just questions with respect to MD&A, which is part of the single audit that Rich may have already received, but typically you all will receive the audit report a month in advance, and then Meyer Dussel, I believe Betsy Krishner, who's the president of Meyer Dussel, will be in attendance the month following after you all receive the hard copy so that you can digest the information, prepare any questions for their attendance, and then pose those questions to Betsy and the team.
That makes sense. I mean, Joe and Rich and I had a conversation today just about a couple of the lines are in there. So I'll save my questions until we receive the audit, and then we can ask Betsy about some of those things as well. So thanks, Joe.
All right. Is there a solicitor's report?
No, thank you, Mr. Scott.
Very good. Informational items. Anything informational, Dr. Dahl?
I do not have anything.
Other business to be put before the board. Speak now or forever hold your peace. Are there? Oh, come on. Evan.
I'm dying.
Yeah, we've seen enough of that. All right. Thank you. Are there any visitor comments we couldn't see them really on Zoom. If there's any, I don't see any visitors on Zoom, so I guess we don't have a point for that. I would say that I do hope you all have a healthy and safe winter until we see each other on Groundhog Day. The groundhog is going to not see its shadow, so it's going to be a very short winter, and we'll be back together before you know it, at least by 2022. Any other comments? Hearing none, I'm in need of a motion to adjourn.
Move, Perry.
Motion made by Mr. Perry. Is there a second?
Second.
Mrs. Downer is seconding very adamantly. So we do have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
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 All right, this meeting is adjourned. We will gather again on February 2nd next year. Thank you for attending tonight, everyone, and have a great day.
Merry Christmas, everybody. Happy New Year.
Yeah, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year.
Thank you.
Happy holidays, everyone.
Take care.
Oh.